Hello, Ahmed. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm perfectly fine. So, how's your weekend going on?
Weekend is going really well. It's been shadi after shadi. I came in very late. I'm very sleep deprived, but yeah, I hope to be surviving this podcast. Hopefully.
Sure, you will. So, before we jump into the serious discussion, I would love your intro, for the audience, who are you as a person, and then right after a very short intro, I would love to hear about your journey, from where did you start and how things going on at your end.
So I call myself a motion designer. I think I came into motion design about 5 years ago, which is also not my degree. I went into electrical engineering. I did it from NAS. I graduated in 2020. Um, Engineering was fun as well. I mean, it seemed fun from far away when I was not in engineering, but when I was in one, it did seem a little bit of a roller coaster. When I was in, I think I looked at my first year grades and I was like, this shit ain't for me. I should be thinking about something else
Yeah,
already. I mean, no way someone would give a job to this
yeah,
guy with this GPA. And that's where entire thing came in. I mean, I knew if electrical is not the thing, then what it is. I was trying different things. I think I tried. Uh, I think the first thing that I tried was a little bit of writing, content writing. I tried writing, but looks like because I don't enjoy reading, I wasn't enjoying writing either. So then I came into design. I think it's design and video. I think they're one of the most. It takes the most out of your creative side of things.
yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. I think it was my first paid project was in my second semester. There was a guy who was doing. He was looking for some sort of a video for his church. He met me in a Facebook group. I posted some sort of a video there. That hey, it was a shitty video. It was a Canva template. I posted there. Hey, I'm a video editor. Uh, I'll do a video for free. He came into my DMs. He said, I'm looking for a video for my, I do church marketing, and would you be comfortable doing it? I said, okay. But he also said he'll pay me. So that was my first hard-earned $100. I worked 2 weeks on that
Nice.
project. He had a lot of footage recorded, and then he just wanted, some nice intro outros, some of the things he wanted to overlay in form of text. So it was a very bad video. I still have it. I've saved it with me, and I look at it and it keeps me humble. um,
Yeah.
so that was my first actually video project. And I came into, I think I did some small video projects here and there. I had no clear direction that I wanted to be a video editor. I was doing some design projects, posting on my ads. I was doing all sorts of things.
Nice.
um, and just getting out there. That was the initial idea, and see which one clicks with me, which one I enjoy, which one the market responds to. Let's say the people in the group would appreciate. So I was just testing out those things. It turns out that I started getting video projects, even though I was doing probably more design projects at that time. Uh, those were not paid projects; those were personal projects. I would just do them. I would look at something with the hats, maybe dribble, try to match it on my own, and then post it somewhere. But I had some success with video projects. And then when I was graduating, I had one, client who'd need video edits for his YouTube channel. She was to make vlogs. She would stand in front of the camera and talk about, she would review stuff. So she would review, these are the 5 fun apps I found to whom you could make
Yeah.
money while sitting at home. They claimed this. Did they actually provide this? She wasn't getting much of views, so the partnership didn't last very long. And then I moved into, so I graduated in 2020, and I think I started my first role in October of 2020. Like it was a remote role. It was with a real estate marketing company. They were based out of Thousand Oaks in California. They were doing real estate videos primarily. So they had a big video team that would go to sites, property listings. They would take drone footage and they would send to us. They had a huge editing team as well. I think there were about 80 odd people. Um, so that was that. I think I stayed there for about 6 or 7 months. It was great working with that team. There were a lot of they're very senior. You'd sit with them. They was in the editing industry for like 20, 30 years, so they would they'd be very they knew Adobe from the first launch of Adobe.
Oh,
So
nice.
I that was probably one of my biggest learning curves as well. And then the job that followed it. Uh, so the second job that I did was with an ad agency. It was called Ad Kings at that time, I think. They were based out of Singapore. They were a small team, 10 people, but they were very recent the best thing that I learned from there was aligning design with business needs. So that's one thing that I often feel as well, that when, we're as designers, we talk a lot about, fonts, alignments, hierarchy, balance, and all of those
Yeah.
things. But often we forget about, the actual business outcomes that the other person is likely more interested in.
True.
Which is, how the ad is going to perform, is it going to resonate with the audience, why is it going to resonate with the audience, and
True.
all of those questions. So yeah, I think these were two biggest learning curves. Then I did one more job, but it was also the time that I was doing a lot of freelancing on the side. Freelance chal raha hai, and the way I came into agency was very, natural as well. It wasn't very much planned. I had enough freelance work that I had to leave my job. I had to hire one guy on the site, then I had to hire another one, then I had to hire the third one. And then eventually I decided I have to probably give this a name because, I have to, people come in and ask, which company am I giving this interview in? Excuse
Yeah.
me. And when you tell them, when you stutter, it's not very,
True.
it's not nice. So it was a very fun and a weird time as well. Looking back, I was doing I was taking on everything that was coming my way. If there's a design project, there's a video project, I was saying yes to everything. And the goal was just to test out, experiment on, and get my hands on with as much as I can. um, and I think, and eventually, so I started formally an agency like in 2022, but I had started that from 6 months before. And yeah, when I started it, it was supposed to be very video focused. We were editing a lot of YouTubers for a lot of YouTubers, podcasters, some daily vlogs. We were doing that kind of stuff. We're doing a lot of shots as well. But eventually, the model formed. We wanted to be more of, as creative partners for marketing teams. The idea was that, marketing teams all of the time need creative resources. They have ads going out. They need sales enablement stuff like decks, pitch decks, investor decks, reports, white papers, all of those things, and they need a designer for them. And we wanted to be that plug-in partner whom they can scale up and scale down all the time. So let's say if they have a 80 hours a month need this, which is a part-timer by the way, and if you need, let's say, 160 hours a month, this is equivalent to someone working a full time. So the idea was that why don't you get us a team on a full-time retainer on a plug-in model rather than going out and hiring a graphic designer, which likely if you're doing in US or wherever you are based is going to cost you a lot more than us.
True.
And also you'll have to, pay for the hiring fees, pay for, management costs. You'll have to, PCs, subscriptions, all of those things, the extra baggage that would come with it, obviously.
True.
So this was the idea. I ran it for about 3.5 years in total. I closed it on in May 2025. So it's been 2 months, and yeah, back to freelance.
Great. I mean, very inspiring or a roller coaster ride, I would say. So that's amazing. So before we like jumping into the actual running an agency experience, I would love to ask, like, when you graduated, you were doing some jobs, right? So what would you prefer? Like in jobs, you have like all the resources in the world, and but you don't get that sort of creative freedom. On the other end, when you are running your own thing, it could be an agency, a service-based company, or a product-based company. Um, and you have like all those creative freedom, but you don't have that much resources. So what would you choose if someone gives you all the resources with a very limited creative freedom, or if someone takes all the resources and give you all the creative freedom in the world? So what would you choose and why?
I think in hindsight, if I have to make that choice again in 3-4 years down the lane, I would probably choose the one with more creative freedom. But I feel like if I go back again, and in 2020, if I was given this choice, I had two companies, I'd probably choose the one which was paying more. Like you're wired as a student, you just want to you. It's very counterintuitive to think otherwise. You think that it's the high paying job is obviously going to be the better one. It's going to be, it's going to be a better team. Maybe it's going to be, all of the good things. And obviously, money is a big part at that time. But later down the road, if you choose the other way, you'd realize, how wrong it would have been to go otherwise. I think it's very, the right choice is obviously the one with creative freedom for a designer, especially. But I don't know. I mean, I'm afraid. I don't know if if I do that choice.
Yeah.
If I was in 2020.
So it's like, when do you decide to actually initiate your own venture?
Um, so this it actually came very natural to me. I mean, I don't know if it was a mistake or not, if it should be this natural. But when I was doing freelance, I had enough work to either. So I was in a place where I could so say no to certain projects when there's a new project coming my way. I could potentially say, hey, I have enough work already committed. I probably won't be able to take yours, or I had a choice to hire someone. Um, and tell them already, hey, we're a team. I can take this project as a team, but not as an individual freelancer. Is that okay? I promise to be able to deliver the same quality that you're expecting off of me. But I'll be managing this person. He'll be working right next to me. He'll be sitting next to me. Is that okay with you? So I took the route number two, but it came very natural to me, and I feel like this is the way that it should happen. Because I see, so let's say when I'm sure we all have gone on Fiverr, and sometimes we see, yeah, ये क्या design हो रहा है,
Yeah.
and then we also feel like अक्सर I feel कि designers make this choice because उनके पास काम नहीं आ रहा, उनको लग रहा है कि यार हम why don't we do it as an agency, हमारे पास पे काम आ जाएगा, and I feel like that's a mistake. It should be very natural. So one of the best things that I was talking to another agency founder. It's a very successful agency, and he told that his customers requested that why don't you, if you, he was saying no to their projects, and the customers said, why don't you hire people and deliver us the work? At the end of the day, we care about work. If you can manage those people and make sure that they can deliver similar quality with your support, why not? So I think it should come natural. Even when you're closing an agency, I think it should be, it should feel like, I've hit a plateau. I don't know if I'm growing anymore. That was the case with me as well. So when I started the agency, we were 1 year in, and we were uh, a decent sized agency already. And for the next 3 years, we didn't grow much. We would grow, but then we would also, whenever we would grow, we would lose projects, we would lose ongoing retainers. We would start to lose on our quality assurance. We were not doing great work when we were doing a lot of work. So I felt like I had reached a plateau with with my human capabilities, and I'm probably doing something wrong either, or I need to rethink this. So it came this way for me, but I'm also learning what's the right way to start it. But I found these two ways to be very natural. Either your customers tell you that, hey, I think it's time to start your agency. You have a lot more people coming up, and you probably can't handle it all in freelance. Or either you already have enough, and then you go out to your customers and tell them, okay, we are taken on as an agency. I can assure you of same quality, um, but yeah, it will be my people working and not me directly.
Perfect. So, like before, a very quick question. That when do you decide whether to take a project or not? Because I know it's very difficult for any agency. It could be a big size or a small size. That it's very difficult to say no because of maybe either they want to take all the projects, but again lacks the delivery or maybe the quality of the delivery because of the versatile work. So more general work leads to like I know more clients, but the specialized one, like we see very few agencies which are specialized. So like which approach will you take, a generalized or a specialized approach, like saying no to probably the projects that are not related to directly related to the things that you want to work on? So which approach will you take?
I think this was actually one of my biggest mistakes as well. I probably was saying yes too much. I was saying yes to some of the things that I shouldn't have said yes to. It absolutely destroyed our focus. We were not able to focus on certain things. We should have kept maybe in one direction. Maybe if we were good at video editing, we should have kept that direction and not just hop on design projects and then rush towards hiring designers, and then UI, if there is a UI UX project coming in, we're rushing in a different direction. I think especially when you're starting, I think focus is absolutely important. If you have to nail one skill set on an industry before you can think about the others. And I see that is a big difference. Being able to say no, it's something that I feel like, I mean, I am still struggling with it. I see very senior people in the industry still struggle with it. It's because it's very counterintuitive. You don't, if there's a good project coming your way, it pays well, it's a decent project, and you can deliver it. But it shouldn't come at the cost of companies' focus and companies' values. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
I don't know if this answers the question, but
Yeah,
I think
it is.
focus is very important. You have to be able to nail one skill set.
Perfect.
Then you think about others.
And one thing that I like currently struggle myself as well is that creative people are not very good at business. So, from where did you learn business?
Yeah, I don't know if I am very good at business either, but what I'd say is I think um, I'd say one thing. So I learned a lot from some of the mentors that I had at that time. I didn't had a lot of job experience in the local market. When I was, three of my jobs are all remote, and it's very different working remote from working in a local company. I mean,
Yeah.
when I was working, I think there were months where I had no communication with my manager or my boss. He'd know that Ahmed is working. Ahmed knows that my boss doesn't need to check in with me to be able to make sure that I'm working. I need to work on what I need to work on, regardless if he's checking in with me or not.
True.
And it's exactly the opposite when you're working in the local industry. So I had a very difficult time actually managing people to begin with, and that's where I struggled as well. I think I was. We were able to close on projects earlier on, but we were not. We were losing projects as well from we were leaking our funnel, and that turned out to be one of the bigger problems. And I think on coming back to the question, I think mentors are very important. Go seek mentorship. Some of the things you'll only learn from experienced people and not just YouTube tutorials and courses. Um, and I think trying out helped us as well. We were trying out, we tried almost everything. We tried Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, we tried email ads, we find out certain things. So email worked for us for quite a while. I think at least for the first 2 years, email worked very well. With AI, Google is now very easily detecting,
Yeah.
cold emails and stuff. But it was very effective to begin with. I don't know why. But we were testing out a lot of things. Some of the things did work out. We would hone in on this. And I think at the end of the day, that's all what sales and marketing is. You try out different messaging, you try out different positioning, and you try to find that sweet spot where your customers and you are on the same page.
Perfect. So, speaking of working with different companies internationally or locally, um, how do you see the design culture in different companies? You have worked in different
In
places.
I think design culture has to be very different than software. So I don't know if I've seen that culture enough. I would love to see a design culture of how a design culture should be. I recently visited an office in Lahore. I was very impressed. I think. And I felt that this is how design should be done. So I could tell from the walls and from the artwork on the doors that I'm out in a designer's place, and this is how, and I can expect good design from this place. I think design culture in general, a lot of the times when software people, so software houses usually, tend to go with a big, when software is doing well, they think about, okay, design could be one area that we could lead into, but a lot of the times the way design culture overall works is very different from software. And it should be. Design is often done in smaller spaces. It's not a lot. It's not about big numbers, big teams. It's about small and creative spaces and creative people often. And I think that's what a design culture is about.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Speaking of cultures, by the way, there is a lot of problem with I think design feedbacks. Um, Not perfectly the stakeholders, but everybody has their opinion on design, right? So, what do you think? What are the ways that the feedback given to the designers can be improved so that they can learn from the points and they can deliver next time in a better quality, or maybe their way of delivery will be changed or improved, and they can actually work on something that is relatable to them. So what do you think, how can the feedbacks given to the designers can be improved?
Um, I think so. The feedback that I see getting on going to the designers within software teams is, very much the software way. Hey, we just got a feedback from the marketing team that why don't you put a big banner on there? I think the design feedback, and I learned this very late as well, that the design feedback should be an overall problem feedback, and if you have a good designer, he should be able to transform that, ideate from problem to the solution, let him do that, and not sometimes I think product owners and especially marketers tend to be very specific about design feedbacks.
Yeah.
Why don't you place this button here? Why don't you why don't we go with some brighter colors here to just make more impact? I think so. My on preference and feedbacks, which I try doing every day, is keep it problem oriented. Hey, we're having this problem. Why don't you think about it and figure out a solution via design? So you can think in terms of, you give them creative freedom, because if you're telling them just solutions, that probably, a lot of the times the software solutions don't apply on design solutions,
Yeah.
design problems. I think that's a big problem.
Yeah.
There should be, the designers, I think, in a very different creative space than marketers and software people, and it should be that way. They should be given overall feedbacks and
Yeah.
problem-oriented feedbacks, and if they're good designers, if you have a good designer, he should be able to transform into he should be able to give you a better visual of what the solution could look like.
Perfect. Yeah, that's very insightful. Like giving the feedback to the designers about the problem rather than telling them what to do. And with, if possible, with the data will be more helpful. Cool. Speaking of the designers' feedbacks and cultures and all, what do you think? How does the creative spaces helps in the creative excellence of the designers? Like, what do you think about this? Like, to be more creative, or if we want the designers to perform better, what could be the environment that should be given to them so that they can like learn a lot and deliver according to the cultures and deliver, actually improve the quality of the delivery?
Yeah, I think so. My take on this is design services is actually the thing that makes design and software different is the design is entirely on the designer. You can't. So when it's about software, it's usually about you can do QC in ways that you can't QC design on. So you
Yeah.
can tell the software guy, either it's yes or no for him, for the
Yeah.
software guy. Either his button is working, you know either his page is opening or not. But design is very different. It's usually there's no right or wrong in design. A lot of the times, design can be absolutely correct with design rules. There's hierarchy, there's alignment, there's balance, but still, it lacks the touch. It's not even deliverable.
Yeah.
But it is correct. So it's absolutely on the designer to be able to figure out the sweet spot, to be able to think about the extra mile, to be able to think about the extra touches that would make the design pop. And I think that's where design culture comes in. Has a if your designer is given a safe space, if your designer has enough vision, if he has enough exposure, if he is creative enough, if he has creativity around him, then only he'll be able to, think out of the box, uh, think of better ways, think of the extra miles that he can take on a certain. Let's say he's designing a logo, man. He could absolutely, there's no right or wrong. There's better or worse. There's no, and it's down to the designer if he goes the extra mile. And that's one of the problems that I faced with the agency as well. So, especially very early on, a lot of the times, it wasn't on point till the end, but especially in the beginning, a lot of the times when designers, we're delivering 4 or 5 things in a day, and they do something and it's in the QC channel, and then they've left, and I'm looking at the designs and I'm like, man, this can't go out. I need to go into Figma, I need to go into Canva and fix all of this. And I was doing that. I was doing 4 or 5 hours extra every day to fix all of the stuff that was delivered. And I feel like if a lot of it had to do with the design culture, because they didn't have they didn't have enough creative exposure. And I can't tell what to correct in it. It's far easier for me
Yeah.
to go into the design and correct it than tell them what to correct it. So I think giving the designers a safe space and a creative space, and being in those creative conversations all the time is super important. um, Otherwise, yeah, if you want to do great work, if you want to do great design, if you want to be a top-notch agency, if you want to be a top-notch designer, I think you should be able to look at a food menu or a food brochure and be able to tell, this should be this should be fixed this way. Why
Yeah.
don't I go home, give them a better design brochure? um, so yeah, design, creativity should be in the environment everywhere around you,
Makes sense.
and you're only able to create a good design team.
Cool, cool, very cool. So, a very quick question again. Speaking of like from the running agency, so how do you trust when you hire somebody? Right, although you have seen their portfolios and you know how did they work, but I know you work top notch, right? So how do you trust anybody when you're hiring that they will probably deliver the same quality that you do?
Man, I sucked at hiring. I probably am not the right guy for this. So I don't know. I didn't had a hiring process actually figured out. So a lot of the times it was just me. You know, a lot of the times it was just my intuition. You know, this guy, I see his work. His work looks okay. There's a lot of template work mixed inside his portfolio, and I'm not sure. But later at the later stages, I started giving out design small test projects to evaluate. But design evaluation is very difficult, I think, because software sometimes can be, can't be easily, forged. You can't pick someone's software and put it on your portfolio. But with
Yeah.
design, it's very easy. I mean, there are thousands of templates out there. You can do it. Um, you can put anything on your Behance, anything you want.
Yeah.
And I think so. I would recommend evaluating on only one thing. I would recommend evaluating on his design thinking, on his design process. So let's say if design is a shorter ticket size, a shorter time as well. And I would look at the person, how much research he's putting into, the thing he's designing. So let's say I gave a trial to someone who's going to be designing an ad. I would love to see, what research he did, what is he backing his design with. So what sort of so he took some design decisions. He took, a design decision to write this is the call to action. Why did he do that? And he has to have some solid reasons to back them up. I mean, a lot of the research sources are out there. Facebook Ads Library. He should be going at Facebook Ads Library, looking at what competitors are doing, look at what's working in the market already, and then start his design process or do his design. And that's what I look for. I think more and more. I think design can be, he should be naturally willing to be able to go to the extra mile. But with design, a lot of the times, tools and all of the masking things and pen tool and all the things can be figured out. All of the things can be taught as well. But the design culture, the design thinking should be there.
Makes
That's
sense.
what I look for.
Makes sense completely. So, talking of the portfolios, what do you think are the do's and don'ts for the designers when they are making a portfolio? Or if you have to make your portfolio from scratch, what you will do?
Yeah, I think your portfolio is. I think my portfolio is literally what I've earned in the last 5 years. I mean, I yeah, I can't emphasize enough how important your portfolio is. It should be absolutely spot on. It is the only thing that you're getting judged on when your resume or your portfolio is in the hands of a recruitment manager or creative director. That's their only interface of them knowing how good of a designer you are actually. So make it absolutely perfect. I'd say your best work should be in there. Not just don't put everything. Just don't dump everything you do in your
Yeah.
Behance. I think it should be very selective. People don't know. People don't have enough time to go through all of it.
True.
They should be able to look at some things, some of your best work, and be able to tell what they can expect from you. I think what else? I'd also I think, I mean, we talked about, you should be very selective about your portfolio, don't dump everything. Um, and then also it should resonate, it should be specific about the things. Let's say if someone's requesting for a logo and he wants to see a logo portfolio, just don't send him a portfolio or a big drive folder where there's everything and he can see videos as well and he can see DMs.
Yeah.
I think it's a very bad impression. Definitely a no, don't do this. And then I would also say there's no, with all of the AI, with all of the resources out there, there's absolutely no excuse for not having a good portfolio, man. Like it's so basic. Just remove bad stuff from there. I often tell designers to go out to look for something they really like on Dribble or maybe on Envato and just match it with their own, go in Figma, open a Figma on the side, match it, design it, and with three four projects you'll be able to start designing. The way you'll be able to start seeing the small things that were in those projects and you were missing, and you can definitely add those in your portfolio. To mention those are personal projects, but yeah, I think there's no excuse for not having a good portfolio, man.
Cool. That's very insightful. Again, quick question. Speaking of the portfolios, then the most, I think, not only designers but everybody struggles is with negotiation. So you were running an agency for like 3 years. What are your thoughts on negotiation and how to do it in a better way? Talking about the creatives.
So with us, a lot of the times we were actually, so we were working on a subscription model. So it was a flat hourly rate. It was like I mean, it was for the longest period. It was already on a website. I think I did it in the later portions to just say book a call to know about the pricing, but it was already on a website. So you could actually, just go on a website, buy one of our plans, and get started working with us.
Nice.
And since I had this much, I actually hated negotiating. I hated being in those negotiation
Yeah.
conversations. And I think, and I'm sure a lot of designers are pretty much the same. They can talk about all creatives all day, but they avoid these conversations. And that's why I had it on my website all the time. So someone doesn't come to me, ask for my prices, and then tell me that this is very high. These are my prices. They're already on my website. Only come to me if you agree with them and if you're okay with them. And I think it does help a bit as well, especially if you're bad at negotiations, which I was. And then I would also say, and then with some of the Upwork projects or with the freelance platform projects we were doing, I think a lot of it was actually based on other person's budget as well. Know their budget in advance. This helps a lot. A lot of the times they undercut it. They tell you a lower budget than what actually is. All those techniques that are coming from the 19th century.
Yeah.
But I think so. Some of the things that I developed to counter them were displaying them upfront, being very upfront about it, so you can avoid those conversations. And
Yeah.
people, or if you go in a good, the reason you negotiate in the first place, the reason you go to Etwar Bazaar and say nahi main to itne ka hi lunga, is because they don't have a lot of the times. When you go to a brand, you don't do this.
Yeah.
Because they have listed prices and they're only going to work at this. It's not plus minus one even, so it's absolutely this price. And I think this really helps, especially with people like me. If you have a certain price in mind, you want to work at that price, just have it out clearly. Don't try to hide it. People would obviously come and negotiate that.
Makes sense. Cool. So before we wrap this up, Ahmed, would you like to add anything? What are you working on currently?
Yeah, I'm working on something. It's going to be a fresh start. I think I've had enough of my freelancing. I just can't. I think I'm better back at my building zone, and I want to build something amazing again. I think I have a very good idea in mind. It's started already. I'm actually looking for a design partner who can come and lead my design team. I think that's one of the learnings from the agency side as well, from my previous agency, that there should be, if you want to go far, you absolutely have to have partners with you. You can't do it alone.
Yeah.
If you want to do a lifestyle business, if you want to do maybe a small 7-10 people, by the way, there's nothing wrong in running a small team. I think it's very lucrative. I'd say it's very lean. It's very easy on you. But I think if you want to go far, if you want to build something big, a co-founder is a master. That's what I'm looking for. And if any of your viewers, if anyone watching is a super designer who's really good with design, I guess feel free to reach out. I don't know if you can put my LinkedIn in the description. That would be great, and they can reach out. And yeah,
that's cool.
And only one on the note of one last suggestion / thing is so I'm sure some of the times you have opened freelance platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, and you're like, man, ये क्या कर रहे हैं, मतलब why are you even calling yourself a designer? You're literally pasting Canva templates. When you're on those platforms, when you're working with national people, you're representing Pakistan as well. When you try to cheat, or when you try to do bad work, when you're just playing on the price game, you're putting a thumb on the the name, the Pakistan name as well. So don't do that. Focus on delivering quality. Pakistan has been is now on the freelance platforms. We're now the cheapest marketplace. We're cheaper than Bangladesh and India as well. And I feel like if we are playing and if we are providing better quality, there's absolutely no reason to be able to charge higher. And that's what I would suggest.
Cool. Yeah, that also makes sense. So, do you have, a piece of advice for the young professionals or designers who are just either stepping into the design or they are looking for work? Like some of them may be laid off and they're looking for full-time work. So, what is your piece of advice for them?
My only piece of advice is seek for the do your best design. Don't do design because your manager asked for it and you just have to and you don't have any other choice. You can still put in your effort, do your best work, and you don't know, it will help you in so many ways. Your portfolio is your main thing. It will go in your portfolio, and it will benefit you in 2 3 years down the lane. It will absolutely. And I mean, I'm looking for designers right now, and I absolutely look for those people who want to go that extra mile, who think of design not just as a Jira ticket or a task, but think of design as something, an opportunity to do their best work, to showcase their best thing, and think of something really creative. There are people who are willing to pay a lot more for those, for the people who are willing to take those extra miles. So never lose the touch. Always be willing to, think of something extra. What can I do extra in that design? Just don't deliver a design for the sake of delivering something.
Makes sense. And the last thing that I wanted to ask is, you mentioned a lot about mentors and learning from them. So if you can like mention a few of your resources that you actually look for, or mentors that you actually go to, that would be great.
Yeah, there's a site that's called Growth Mentor that I actively use actually. I think it's expensive. It's probably the annual subscription is like $500-600. They do discounts occasionally as well, but that helped me a lot, man. I mean, you would find head of design of Meta, all these very big people that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to reach, but they give out free mentorships. There are few, let's say, you can do 3 4 mentorships a month, and I think that really helped me put myself into their shoes and think about their problems. And I think there are a bunch of other sites as well. I think there's Mentor Cruise, but yeah, you can seek some. If you know a friend, if you know a friend of a friend who's doing very well in the agency space, or is somewhere somewhere you want to be, don't hesitate to reach out to them. A lot of the times, people are
Yeah.
willing to help out for the sake of helping out because someone helped them out. Um, and yeah, if anything it came to my head, I'll probably send over and you can probably add it in the description. But Growth Mentor and Mentor Cruise, that's what I use.
Perfect. And one addition to the list, ADP list is something that is I mean, free and alternative if you're not like willing to pay for that. But ADP list is like quite popular as well on the LinkedIn side. So yeah, you'll find easily mentors there. Or you can like simply reach out to people on LinkedIn and they are willing to help. They have time, and they are also willing to contribute, and they're very helpful, honestly. So yeah, I mean, that's probably it from my side. Do you have anything else to add, Amit?
I think that's about it. That's been a wonderful. I think it's been one wonderful hour.
Yeah, yeah. So before we like wrap this up again for the third time, do you have any weird or funny client story that you can share?
Weird, a funny client story. I am that sort of a guy. If it's a very weird client, I'll probably just walk up to him and say, "Thank you." We probably won't be able to take this any further. But I don't know if there's a story on top of my head, but I'm sure we all encounter those, clients whose problem with the design is यार मजा नहीं आ रहा, you know, बस कुछ कुछ कम लग रहा है. They don't know what's come, they don't know what's missing, they don't know, but मजा नहीं आया उनको. और they're the most difficult type of people to be working with as well, as designers, because they can't identify a problem and you can't do either, and then we're left hanging in balance. और उनके साथ मजा भी आता है. We get to push our extra mile. अच्छा मजा कैसे आएगा,
Yeah,
कैसे मजा आ सकता है यार,
yeah,
इसमें क्या ऐड कर सकते हैं
that's
हम.
true.
But I think yeah, डिजाइन मजे की स्पेस है यार. मजे मजे के क्लाइंट्स टकरते रहते हैं. कुछ किसी को कुछ चाहिए, किसी को कुछ चाहिए, but
True.
yeah. तो
That's
मजे
good.
की स्टोरी मिलेगी यार. We'll keep it for the next podcast.
Sure, sure. That sounds good. So thank you so much, Ahmed, for showing up. I mean, I'm very grateful that you come on the platform and you shared all your learnings, and honestly, they are very insightful, very invaluable for me, and again, for anybody who will be watching this podcast. I hope they'll get some value. Thank you so much, man, for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Bye bye.